Welcome, 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 everyone. So
Hello.
glad you're here. June 23rd, Thursday, just after 3 p.m. Eastern Standard. This is our new day and time for Flashpoint TV, and I am at a special location.
Look at that.
We're going to give you some details about that. Mandy, first of all, how are you doing today?
I'm absolutely awesome. Thank you for asking. And I'm just looking at the backdrop there, and I'm like, that's where I should be. That's where I should be.
And hopefully we'll be able to show you more, but we're excited. It's been an incredible day already. Just to get here has been an adventure.
Yes.
So for those of you that know me, I'm Austin. For those of you that don't know me, I'm still Austin. So we welcome you to the show. We got a great show planned today. We're really putting ourselves out there to provide more of an experience for you, more guests, more information, more inspiration. And we are going to really stay with this. You're going to walk away more inspired, more provoked in a good way, that maybe there's something that's been in there and you've been like, there's that feeling that bubbles up inside and you're like, man, I really want to do more. And it's kind of been like coming up and maybe chirping away at you. Well, we want this to be a catalyst, to use the title of Mandy's book, to really spur you along, to really get you to take that step, to realize you don't need to figure it all out today. We just need you to get in motion and to get inspired. So I welcome you here today. We're going to kick the show off right now. We have this little ritual that we do to set this show up. And for some of you, you're going to see it for the first time. But I got to tell you, each time we do the ritual, it speaks back to us and we learn something new. So we're going to learn together. So Mandy, I'm going to start us off with the Hourglass. This, by the way, this is our travel edition. We normally have the big Hourglass, but the reason why we highlight the Hourglass, it's a consistent reminder to be in the present moment where life is happening. I was addicted to the future for many years. In other words, my future was more valuable than right now. I knew I needed to make this a part of the Flashpoint message, that this is all we ever had. This is where life is unfolding. The past, we can't go back and change it. We can learn from it, but we certainly don't want to worry about it. And, you know, we've all made mistakes. I want you to get here in the present. The future has yet to unfold. We can create that amazing vision for the future, but it's really an illusion. So all we have is right now. So thank you. And I want you to step into the right now with us and get something to take with you on your journey. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Mandy so we can highlight the next piece of our ritual here.
Well, just before we do, I'm going to add a quote to that because I found this. It's by Stephen Ambrose. And it just fits with the Hourglass perfectly. It says, the past is a source of knowledge and the future is a source of hope. Love of the past implies faith in the future, but it all happens in the present.
Beautiful.
I think that's magic. I think that's absolute magic. Yeah, there's the cowbell. Okay, beautiful, so let's step into the light bulb. And we're doing something a little bit different here. But again, I've got a couple of quotes here from Edison himself. And I'm going to use them, right?
I'm excited. Go.
He's like a postage stamp. Edison said to stick to one thing until you get it right. Edison said stick to one thing like a postage stamp until you get it right. Hang on. The next thing he said was this: results? Why, man, I have gotten a lot of results. I know several thousand things that won't work. Won't work. And then to add to that, Alfred Nobel said this: if I have 1,000 ideas and only one turns out to be good, I am satisfied. So all three of those quotes sum up the Edison light bulb, right? Because he had thousands of different ways that he tried, and each way was different until he succeeded with the one that did work. And that's what the whole point of the postage stamp, right? Stick to one thing until you get it right. And there it is. That's how the light bulb came into being, because Edison didn't give up. He created thousands of different ways until the one way succeeded in, boom, we've got the electric light bulb.
And we have the traveling Flashpoint light bulb, because the Edison light bulb needs to be plugged in and it's at home. But
yeah, it's beautiful. Look at that
representation. And thank you, Mandy, for those amazing quotes, because I don't know about you, but I personally need that perspective, because sometimes you can feel like nothing's going right.
Yes.
Are you with me? Am I the only one that feels this way? Right? You can
well,
feel
you know, go on.
Go ahead, Mandy.
I was just going to say, well, if you think of the postage stamp, right? We put a postage stamp on a letter. And how many terminals does it travel through before it reaches its destination? But it sticks to the envelope no matter what and continues on its long journey to reach the destination until it succeeds. And that's what Edison said. Stick to one thing, like the postage stamp, until you get it right.
That is amazing. What a great way to start the show. And here's what I realized. I'm going to transition to the last thing to introduce the show. But we understand that when you listen to a show like this, and this show in particular, I don't know where you are. I don't know if you're struggling, you're having like depression. I don't know if you're like, man, I'm about to take over, like I'm a couple clicks away from that light bulb working. Usually it's somewhere in between, but I want to honor you because you showed up here. That is important, because it says to me that regardless of what's going on, you showed up and you're here. And again, I just want to honor that part and honor you for showing up. So the last thing that we do
is the cowbell.
And I'm going to keep the light bulb handy. If there's a light bulb moment, like an aha moment, just type that in. Just type in the word light and I'll pull this thing out. It's so cool to look at, this thing here.
Beautiful.
I'll put it down here for now. But the last thing is the cowbell, because why not? It's a fun thing to really, again, highlight a funny moment, something that happened. Just type in the word cowbell. Here we go. Let's give a shout out to DJ for showing up.
DJ, woo! Good to see you.
And that leads me to the fact that I am on location in Penn's Landing, Philadelphia, right next to the Hilton, which is the next Flashpoint Live 4.0. And I'm excited that we have DJs coming in all the way from Texas or South Carolina, depending on where she departs from. So that's exciting. And she has cows. So there we go. We just solved the riddle. There.
Is she bringing them with her? That's what I want to know.
Why not? We're doing all these unprecedented things.
Cowbells
To the event. Okay.
Yeah,
so
like a lot of flashpoints.
The rain is holding out. The sun is coming out. We are ready to rock and roll. Mandy, are you ready to have an amazing show and bring on our special guests?
We are absolutely rocking and rolling. We always have an amazing show and we always have amazing guests. And the lineup today is very, very exciting. So why don't we bring our first guest on today? We have so many shows in the evening and the daytime. We get our days muddled up, but that's okay. Our first guest that we're going to bring on today is the wonderful, amazing human being called Gordon Melville. Let's give him a big welcome to the show. Gord.
Hey. Hey. Both of you.
Let's get the cowbell out. Give him a little cowbell.
There we go. I have a cowbell, but it would be very loud with a microphone, so I won't do that.
Yes, you did that to us last time. We're so
yes,
thankful that you did it. We're thankful that you're not going to do it right now. But, Gord, we had you on last week. I wanted you to come back on because we were on the precipice of a big announcement, and I just wanted to take a couple minutes to have you share that right now.
No, I appreciate that. I want to say thank you to the two of you. It's so amazing. I love you guys. The energy that you bring and the piece about here's the trial versions of I find that absolutely hilarious that it's there anyway, but it's all the same stuff, right? Addicted to the Future. The other thing about your Hourglass, a piece that I had heard ages ago that I think about all the time, is that a saying that says, "The past is a canceled check. Tomorrow is a promissory note. Today is the only cash you have, so spend it wisely."
Let's spend it wisely.
Right?
Yeah, I know that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
thank you so much. The big announcement was that my show, my radio broadcast, digital radio, podcast, and TV show that goes out to 250 platforms globally will start on July 8th at noon. That'll be my normal day and time, Fridays at noon. And it's called The Long Bearded Guy, oddly enough. I'm not sure why exactly, but that's the name of the show. I have about 3 or 4 spots left for sponsors, for partners that want to. Right, I'm really, and I thank you so much to Austin and Mandy for being Flashpoint as a sponsor, and I really appreciate that. I find a lot of times the partners that we have and the people that we hang out with, we're known by, they say birds of a feather flock, right? And so.
Yeah.
Like-minded humans, and so I'm honored that the two of you are and Flashpoint is a sponsor for us. So thank you so much for that. Love the fact that we're working together, and
yes.
If anybody wants to get some more information in terms of there are packages and whatnot, but they can reach out to me at the longbeardedguy.com. Pardon me, that's the website, but longbearded guy at gmail.com is the email.
And I want to highlight the fact of what you're doing with men, how to bring more awareness to men here with this platform. You have an incredible mission. I'm excited that you reached out to me and we could work together, and Flashpoint can be a sponsor of this. This is going to reach a lot of people. Men need this. Men need this right now. And I can't think of anybody better, heart-centered, emotional intelligence. Gordon is the guy. And plus, I mean, God, look at the look. I mean, he's got the look. He's got the heart. It's just a perfect blend. So we're excited here. I realize I'm doing some adjustments here. So thank you for being patient with me here. We got some guests on. We got Jenny Guy on. Good afternoon from Atlanta, part of the Connected
Hi,
Leaders.
Jenny.
We got hashtag long bearded guy now, so we got that going.
Long bearded guy, absolutely. I appreciate that.
A quick thing on reinvention, because that's really what I wanted to highlight here today.
Okay.
We talked about people could be at different stages. What would you have to say about that?
Reinvention, something that a quick illustration about reinvention. An acorn, when we plant a seed, right? That acorn is going to turn into an oak tree. When it comes up, it cannot come up out of the ground a little bit and go, hey, there's a weeping willow. I love weeping willows. I'm going to be a weeping willow. It doesn't have that latitude, right? It has to become what it was meant to be, right? Humans were gifted the ability to reinvent themselves every day if they want to. We have been given the ability, right? It doesn't matter what our past is. Our past can be a most horrendous thing. It can be terrible. It can be good. When I say to people, make it a great day, make it another great day, what I'm trying to do is empower them to understand that no matter what the rest of their day has been to this point, they have the power to make the rest of the day whatever they want it to be. They can reinvent themselves for the afternoon, right? Or for the evening, or we have the ability to do that. And I think a lot of times some people will abdicate that power, right? We tend to not want to step into that because we don't know, either we don't know how, we're not sure that we're worthy of that. We're not sure of, right? So understanding, no, Papa gave us that ability to be able to do that, right? If you want to be in a different place tomorrow, Jim Rohn said, you're not a tree, move, right?
That's
Move, reinvent yourself, find something else, believe in yourself and bet on yourself and be able to step out in that empowerment and with confidence and with power.
I like the way you said that, believe in yourself and step in with power. And that was one of the big points you brought out last week. I got 3 main points here. And the first one was to keep swimming and never give up. Stay in the game. stay in the game.
Yeah.
And I loved how you said or advocated, do not abdicate your power. It is God-given power.
Right.
And it, you know, why should we give it up when it's ours, it's unique, and we just have to believe in ourselves and step into it. So that was really great. The second good point that you left us with last week, seem to be honing in on this a lot lately, was not to rob ourselves of the gift of the present moment by worrying and stressing about the past or the future. We can't affect the past. The future hasn't happened. There's the hourglass to demonstrate it. So why waste our energy in either of those conical flasks when the beauty and the gift is in the present moment? So that tied in with not giving up and not abdicating our power. And then the third point was the reference to your book, Live, Laugh, Grow Abundantly with Intention. If we don't live our lives with intention, nothing's going to happen. We're going to stay stuck. And if we don't have that intention, as Austin says, how can we reinvent? We can't reinvent anything. So we have to live intentionally. And I think that's what you've just beautifully summed up there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for that. And I love the fact that you gave perspective on, we can think reinvention is this major overhaul, and we can be overwhelmed. Well, how? It's easy for you folks to say, you know, you're on video here, but what about me? You don't know my story. And I love the fact that you talked about you could reinvent yourself this afternoon. I think we tend to devalue the small step we can take because we're overwhelmed when we start to look at too much. Like if I think about climbing Mount Everest, I'm like, oh my gosh, but could I start to research it? Yeah, I could get on my computer. And I think we a lot of times we devalue that research that we could do today because we're so focused. Oh my God, the fear. What if I die? You know. So I love the fact that you brought it kind of into the microcosm of today. And if we have time, Mandy, I have this great quote that was like a divine download that maybe we'll get to. So.
Yeah, I had a point there and it's just gone. I was thinking divine download. Carry on, the point's gone.
Yeah.
Well, I got to get my raincoat here because there's some
starting to rain.
Sprinkles coming out of the sky. You know, I'm outside. Oh my gosh. But
grab your umbrella.
Favor. If you believe in reinvention, I want you to type in the word reinvention. If you believe it's possible for you, if it's possible for other people, just type it in. Put it out there.
The point just came back. So when we're in that comfort zone, when we're stuck or maybe fearful of stepping out into our power, first thing is to be aware of the fact that we're feeling that way. Okay, I feel a little bit anxious. I'm a little bit afraid of taking that step. And then the next thing you could do is you could start asking questions. Okay, Mandy, well, why do I feel that way? What brought me to this feeling? What thought contributed to that feeling? Is it an experience? And when you start to ask the questions, you start to break down the hold that stops you from the reinvention process. That was the point that came up. Yeah.
I would add to that. That's exactly right. In bite-sized pieces, right? Whether I'm right. How do I eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Instead of trying to look at the great big huge, hey, I've got Everest in front of me. Instead of looking at all the different bits and pieces of that, what are pieces I can bite off that I can do right now? What's something I can do right now? Right? What's the step I can take right this minute?
One thing
that'll get me closer, right? Just that one step. I don't have to have the courage to do all the steps right this second. I need the courage to do the next step.
Yeah.
Right? Not all the steps. Yeah. I just have to be courageous enough to step out and do just that one step. And I can do that. I can't reinvent my whole life today or tomorrow, but I can reinvent my afternoon. I can break it into small pieces. Maybe it's just the next 5 minutes. Maybe it's the next hour, maybe depending on where I am, right? If I'm in an emotional thing and stuff's going on, maybe I can only think 1 minute out, 5 minutes out. I don't have to think next week or tomorrow or what's the next few minutes look like, right? And then once I get that confidence, I made it through those few minutes, I can go to the next thing. Okay, how do I get through the afternoon? How do I get through the evening? How do I get through tomorrow? Right. And it starts to expand, but little bits and pieces, not the whole thing.
That's right. And actually, just to promote Sunday's documentary airing, Austin, this all goes towards that, because in this documentary, you're going to see Austin's story and the story of others who've had to take those one little bite-sized pieces at a time to reinvent their life, find their breakthrough, and move forward. So that's on Sunday at 8 p.m. Get in touch with Austin to get a seat in the ringside, I call it.
I'll share that link. And by the way, Gordon is going to be back for that. But before we just a couple minutes, Gordon, I just want you to share this. Your message is going to go out to 250 platforms globally, right?
Yeah.
But here's what I want you to hit before we transition. Who do you want? Who's the one person you want to get your message?
You know what? I've been thinking about that and pondering that a bunch. I have a heart for entrepreneurial men because that's what I am. But it's been brought to my attention just in the last week, maybe, that message needs to go out to everybody. So my mission is to have meaningful impact through a network with more than 10 million men globally in the next 2 years, in the next 24 months. So that's my base mission. But we all need it. So it's not something that am I aimed at men? My avatar is men, absolutely. But I'm putting it out to everybody. I'm putting it out to anybody that needs to get to the next step. And people, a lot of times you never hear somebody say, you know what, my bank account is full. I don't need any more money. My bank account is full. Well, your bank account will hold however much you can put into it, right? So if I have tools and ways to think, mindset and energy and understanding emotional EQ, emotional intelligence, if I understand all that, I can have a bunch of tools in my toolbox, but I can never have too many tools in my toolbox, right? And then to the next step of that, steel sharpens steel. So that means, right, even if I've got lots of tools, being reminded of those tools and go, whoa, you know what, I forgot about that tool. It's in the bottom of my box and I haven't used it in a long time. That reminds me of that tool and I can use it again. So I would plug into, it's not just one person, I'm plugging into everybody. 8 billion people on the planet. Everybody can use the information.
I love that. Love the way you put that. Now, you're going to be back on Sunday, right? You're going to be joining us again?
I'll be here. Can't wait.
That's awesome.
Thanks you
for being here, Gord. Really appreciate you being here.
Let's give Gord some love.
See you Sunday.
Thank you.
Type in the word, whatever. Type in the word. Give us a word to type in, Gord.
Long-bearded guy.
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Hashtag long-bearded guy. There we go.
There you go.
Hashtag long-bearded guy. So, Gordon, thank you so much.
Awesome.
I love you, brother. I'm looking forward to doing more with you. Looking forward to having you back on Sunday. Keep up the great work, man.
Absolutely. You too. Thank you so much.
Take care, Gord.
Yeah,
Bye.
make it a great afternoon.
You too.
Mandy, I really loved what he said about the you would never say I have too much money in my bank account.
That's right.
So why would you say, well, I have too much knowledge and information? I got enough empowerment over here, right?
You don't. We never do. We never do. Right?
So cool. Oh my gosh, that's like
it's a great concept.
You want to fill your cup up. I want your cup filled. I want you fired up. I want you powered. I mean, even if you're struggling, like you can grab up for that next. Sometimes anger is a better emotion. Sometimes anger gets you out, get that juice flowing so you can go do something positive. And that's what we want. We want you fired up. We want you
moving. Get people moving.
Let's do it. So the next, this is exciting, Mandy. I appreciate you keeping us on track here because I'm a little fired up. I'm out here in the rain.
Yeah, and you're at 26. We're looking to bring on our next guest, right?
Let's do it.
Are they in the house?
Yes.
They are. Okay, so let's give a really warm welcome to our wonderful wealth instructor with over 30 years background knowledge in all kinds of financial affairs and wisdom. Let's give a warm welcome to Marlon Mueller. Woo! Where is he?
Hey, Marlon. There we go. We got to adjust the camera.
There he is. Yay!
Good to see you.
Look at the smile. What a great smile.
Yes. You looking good. All the way from Des Moines, Iowa. I want to set this up. The world is going to know about Marlon. Marlon has been at the wealth game for 35 years. And he'll tell you it wasn't like silver spoon in the mouth. Like he learned some hard lessons and invested a lot of money in the wrong areas over the course. That's the hard knocks school, right? So I don't want anybody to think there's a bunch of perfect people here. We are all people who have failed, and like the light bulb that Mandy talked about, but we're here to share a message that's going to move you. And what we're introducing here is a little segment where Marlon's going to be joining us from time to time. We're going to nail down the schedule as to when, where he's going to share like a wealth minute or two, or share some insight, especially now since we're in the middle of, I don't even want to say the word because I'd rather let Marlon talk about this. He'll give us the perspective that we need. So Marlon, I'm glad you're here today. Make sure you unmute yourself and let's hear what you have to say for us today.
Oh, I didn't realize I was muted.
Yes.
So,
Speak to us.
yeah. So I thought it was really interesting, Gordon doing his podcast, the long bearded guy. There's actually a Hans Johnson. I got to get him a picture of him. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he's a wealth guy. And he has a really long beard just like that. And they can almost be brothers.
Wow. We'll have to get them together.
Get them on together.
Yeah. So anyway, it's really interesting. I actually went to a seminar last weekend. I guess it was Friday, on real estate. And this guy, he's been doing flips and stuff like that. And he is so excited. He's like, this next turn is going to be the greatest return on my money. And he just can't wait. He's got everything in play. And
really,
a lot of people.
I said, really?
Yeah.
The greatest return on your money?
Well, because of what he's doing and what he sees coming. And so.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So Marlon, you've already opened up a can of worms in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah. So I was actually just reading. Everyone's complaining about higher gas prices, higher food prices, inflation. Now they're talking recession, but recession is when you have 2 down quarters in a row. But you got to understand, the government's been saying we've been having over 8% inflation. If you calculate the inflation rates based on the 1980 rules, which we hit 14%, we're actually over 16%. And so, there's a lot of complaint, but for a pullback, really, it's not going to be necessarily that bad because we're just going too fast. So some guys are saying, it might be a pullback, but it's not necessarily the end of the world.
So let me just stop for a minute because I want to get some wisdom in the next couple minutes before we, the next few minutes. But the way I'm thinking about this is that, put it this way, in the 1980s, they were measuring inflation a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And here today, we're using a different measurement tool, but we're saying it's around the same. But in reality, because the measurement tool has changed, we're actually higher in terms of inflation than we were in the 80s. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Right. Yeah, there's a website called shadowstats.com that still calculates out based on the 1980 rules. The government's always good about tweaking how they calculate things, because if you think about it, if they, like Social Security is paid on the growth. So if growth is 5%, but really they calculate it out as 2%, then they only have to pay on the 2%. And so they can save money that way. And there's other reasons. It's all perception, stuff like that. So
Marlon, I know we only have you for a couple minutes tonight, but we're going to bring you back at a frequency that we will announce to everybody. So Marlon's going to join us at least once a month, give us an update on wealth principles generally, and also some specific things that are happening right now, just like we're talking about. Marlon, what would you want to impart today? I know we only have a few minutes today, but and by the way, I want you to connect with Marlon. By the way, don't just go, here he is, look him up. We'll give you an email. Make sure you reach out, ask a question, connect, because that's where you can you take a step and you can start your journey. But Marlon, what would you want to share today?
Well, I think, everyone's in different places. So I've been actually in another group of doing some back and forth conversations that they don't necessarily have all the information correct. And that happens a lot. You got to really pay attention to who you're listening to. So, but I think in reality is, a lot of people get scared, they jump out and everything else. But I think for right now, a lot of people, the saying is just stay where you are in your lane. So if you're sitting on cash, stay in cash. If you got a stock, just stay in it. If you got a house, that you want to sell, maybe just hang on to it yet. So most of them are just saying, just stay the course for now.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I was going to say, I'm thinking of the Warren Buffett quote, you know, be fearful when everybody's greedy, be greedy when everybody's fearful.
Yeah.
Right. And so
money always flows where it's like right now, everyone's jumping on growth stocks and they went into commodities and things like that. Which, because I own a few commodities and I'm like, wow, they've gone up. But you know, what's going to happen is it'll switch and then pretty soon people go, oh, growth is going to take off. So they'll jump to growth. But real estate right now is a really hot thing. And that's what I told people a couple of years ago. I said, get into real estate. And so we're buying apartments and stuff. I mean, some of these apartment units are seeing a 25% per year increase in rents. Think about that, 25%.
Wow.
You know what that does? That 25% increase means that you add that to the value of the property, and it's a factor which creates millions of dollars in value to those properties. So I've got some friends that they sold off a bunch of apartment complexes. They only owned them for 2 years. They got 34% returns on their money.
Wow.
That is amazing. You see, that's why you need to get in the right conversations with the right people.
Right.
And Marlon is one of those people. And we're grateful to have him. We're going to be doing a lot more together. I can assure you that, because just like we talked about, Gordon Melville was talking about, well, he actually referenced money as a metaphor, but it's true. So there's always something to learn. There's always something to glean. Before we transition, I know I've been up some time here. Is there anything you want to reflect back, or question, or anything we can do before we close out?
Well, I think we've talked about that a number of times on this, you know, these shows. Is, you know, it's always about who you listen to, who you hang out with, and the materials you're reading. So, you know, it gets back to mindset and connections. And this is a great community starting that process of getting the right people together and creating that community where someone's good at this, someone's good at that, and you bring that all together and everyone grows. So like it says, the tide raises all ships.
Absolutely. And we might get a rising tide here, because it's a battle. So thank you everyone for being gracious. I'm battling with some sun and some drips of rain here, but we're doing our best. Mandy.
That's absolutely awesome. This, not that you're getting dripped on with rain. I didn't mean that.
Well, you look good.
Thank you.
Yeah, he
told
does.
me I was yellow before the show, Marlon, so I appreciate your compliment.
Yeah, it was quite funny. Gord looked sunburned. I looked as though I'd been in the mud, and Austin looked jaundiced. It was quite the color range. So yeah, we're really looking forward to having you on. Even, I think once a month, Austin was talking about, to keep us in tune with all these various processes, to have the knowledge and the wisdom to make our money work for us. And I love the fact that you coincided with what Gordon said. One of his favorite mottos is to keep swimming, never give up, and stay in the game. And despite all these complaints and everything going on, you said the biggest thing that you want us to take away today is to stay the course. Things are just going a little bit too fast right now, but stay the course, hold your ground, and when it turns, then you'll see the tide rising. So really appreciate that. And we hope you're going to join us on Sunday at 8 o'clock for the release of the documentary to the world.
I plan to. I'm not sure where I'll be, but I'll be on.
That's right. So we're going to do our best. Marlon's going to be in transit, but he and I have been working close together. I definitely want to have him back for the documentary premiere on Sunday night. You're going to learn so much from Marlon. I already know it. So Marlon, can we share your email address, and then we're gonna transition?
Sure. Yeah, it's just Marlon at the Wealth Wise. Wise is WHYS.com.
Let me see if okay. So say it one more time.
Marlon at the Wealth Wise WHYS.com.
There you go. All right, everyone. So thank you, Marlon, for being here. We have more surprises.
Thank you, Marlon.
We have more surprises, Mandy.
We surely do. And
Marlon, we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Have a great one.
Take care.
See y'all.
Take care, Marlon. Good to see you. So is our other surprise in the house too?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So we're going to transition.
We
never
are.
know. By the way, if you're just joining in, let me do this. We are going to have Flashpoint 4.0.
Right here.
It's probably opposite. But at the Hilton in Penn's Landing, you can Google it. It's a beautiful place. It's right along the river. After this video is over, I'm going to kick up another live video on the Facebook page just to give those of you that are in the community to walk around. If you're on Apple TV, Amazon Roku, you can look me up, Austin J. Haynes, and you'll find me, and you can see this place where we're having the next event, Flashpoint, manifesting the moment of your big breakthrough. All right, Mandy, here we go. I'll take it from here. So I recently made a connection through our partner, Jose Escobar from the Connected Leaders Academy. You get messages from people similar how you and I connected, and we've had some ongoing conversations, and this woman is absolutely incredible, what I've learned. And I don't want to take too much of it because I'd rather have her talk about it in the next couple minutes. But I'll tell you this, she's working on a project that spans, well, a lifetime, but specifically, intentionally, 11 years. She created a journal that was a journal for 11 years about her mother. She's turning it into a book. And she drove all the way up here, 2 hours, to join me in a park with the threat of rain to be here. And she's coming to Flashpoint 4.0 October 7th through the 9th. So do I have your attention?
I hope so. I hope so.
So let's see. Dana, can you come over here? Let me give you a hug. This is the first time we're meeting.
This is the very first time.
So, heart to heart, heart to heart. So thank you. You had a safe trip.
Absolutely. Yep, a perfect trip.
So let me see if we can adjust this. Oops.
Absolutely. And see the rain. The rain is holding off.
And I see Gordon in there too. So maybe we can bring Gordon back on here in a minute. So you know Gordon, right?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to lower this, but yeah, why don't you step up and just say hello to the world.
Hi, Dana.
Hi.
You know what? You can stand on there.
Okay.
I'm going to lower it more.
I'm a little on the short side, so
there you
had to
go.
make adjustments. So hello, I'm glad to be here.
Good that you made it. I'm
Thank
so
you so
Really
much.
happy. Yeah.
Ring that up.
That's okay.
Yep, ring the cowbell.
We'll clean that up. Go ahead.
So, hello everyone. I'm Dana Banks, and I was just absolutely honored to have made the connection with Austin. Austin is an incredible individual. We're very like-minded. And one of the, I was listening to the show for a little bit as I was driving in to the location, and something stuck out to me. And that is being addicted to the future. And I can attest to that. I was very addicted to the future and not living in the moment, living for everyone else but myself. And so what Austin constantly touches upon is be here now. Okay. We have to take that action if we're going to live in the moment. So I said, I think it was just yesterday that Austin had invited me out to come and be a part of the show. And I said, 2 hours. What is 2 hours? We waste 2 hours, right? And so here I am, really, truly excited.
I'm so glad you made it.
Absolutely.
Let's take it because we are on a time schedule,
Of
but I
course.
want you to share the incredible project that you're working on because
Uh-huh.
this is amazing.
Yeah.
I know this is going to touch Mandy's heart too.
Yeah, absolutely. And so my mother passed away 11 years ago, my best friend. I'm her only daughter. And so I had given birth on a Monday. My mom passed away that Friday. And so it really affected me profoundly. But I knew, knowing my mother, being heart-centered and the closeness that we shared, that this life is just a way station, if you will. And so I knew in my heart that my mother would still be there with me to share every joy, every sorrow. And so for 11 years, and that's only because I procrastinated. I just lived for the future and not today. And so for 11 years, I journaled the most extraordinary, incredible experiences where my mother has communicated. And in fact, I decided to do the book in a series because just one book is not enough to touch upon the most amazing stories. And now this particular book is entitled The Postcard, Pennies, and a Promise. And that particular book is a tribute to my mother and all the ways she communicates. The second book will be all about the way she's communicated with her grandchildren, my children. I have 7, and I have 2 granddaughters.
Wow.
And so this book, I hope to touch those who have lost loved ones. I don't want to convince anyone that there's an afterlife, because I respect everyone's opinion and their judgments. But I know this book is going to definitely make a difference, and I want to share those experiences. And there will also be some memorable photographs that go along with the stories as well. And so I'm excited. The book is in pre-launch now. I have a dedicated website, DanaLynnBanks.com. You're welcome to pre-order the book, follow my blog, and the book will launch on January the 6th, 2023. So 11 years in the making, and spread the word. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm over here, everyone. I'm going to just talk because I don't want to go,
Yeah.
but that's an amazing, that's a journey of life. It's going to touch so many people. Because it's got so much depth to it.
Oh, yes.
And we can all relate to that. And I think a lot of people are going to get so much perspective in their own life and loss through your story. So I'm so glad you made it today. Now, are you excited to be back here again in October to do?
Oh my gosh. And so unfortunately I was all set up to go to the previous event. Never happened, but I want to touch upon that there are no accidents. And that book by Robert Hopp, it's a very old book. It's called There Are No Accidents. So I encourage people to reach out and get that book. But it just, touches upon that, everything is everything is meant to happen when it happens. And so I embrace that. I'm embracing being here with Austin, driving 2 hours, and just, having a meeting of the minds and, celebrating his success with Flashpoint. But the most important thing is to be here now. And I'm here.
Show up. They say show up.
Right?
So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you. I'm going to, so Mandy, what we're going to do right now, I got Gordon. I might bring Gordon back on here when you do the recap, but hello. I'm going to share the trailer real quick.
Yeah,
so
go
you're just finding out who are these people? What do they want from me? We don't want anything. You can watch from the comfort of your own home, but I want to share the 2-minute trailer, and then we'll come back and Mandy's going to do a beautiful recap for us. Sound good?
Sounds good. Go for it.
Give Dana some love here, by the way.
Oh,
just type in.
Thank you for driving the distance to be here.
Well, I appreciate
really appreciate it.
All right, here we go.
Sure.
Let's do this. Technology work. Let's see here. We're going to do this. We're going to go here. Oh, here we go. We're going to go here. Yeah. Share.
My life is over. These words came out of my mouth at one of my lowest points in life. I was at my lowest point, void of clarity, inspiration, or meaning.
The thing I needed to change was the way I looked at myself. In the midst of all the chaos, confusion that you might go through, there's a moment of validation and clarification. Flashpoint, manifesting the moment of your big breakthrough. And that's the beautiful thing about Flashpoint, is that it happens in us first. And that was the birthplace of Flashpoint. Flashpoint is like coming in like a flash saying, no, there's more. Information's everywhere. Experience is rare. Enter Flashpoint. They so desire, they want to win in their lives. They want the big breakthrough. And we provide that environment for them to win. Most recently, I launched the Rocky campaign. Sure enough, I'm doing these videos every day. People start to meet me. I have guests literally at the Rocky steps, and we're pouring out these informational content. And next thing you know,
It gave birth to the Rocky experience, which we've added to Flashpoint. And now we just completed the first ever Rocky experience with the Flashpoint Live Immersion. They want to climb these steps in physical form as a metaphor for their own lives.
There we are. Welcome back, everyone. That's the Flashpoint trailer, Game Technology. Thank you for staying with us today. Let me jump in here, Dana. So, Mandy, I'm gonna turn it over to you. Oh, and look at this. The sun is coming out, Mandy.
Shining on success and all the good stuff that we've got coming down the pipeline. So let's get into it. Before I do, I just want to promote, we've just seen the clip of the documentary, and I just want to remind everybody here that you are releasing or launching the documentary, the full documentary, to the world on Sunday, the 26th, I think it is, of June at 8 p.m. So get in touch with your website and get ready
the
to
link.
attend.
Yep, and the link is also in the chats, both chats.
Oh, okay, I can't see the
YouTube
chat.
link.
So
It's okay, Mandy. Thank you so much. Over to you. We got a whole like 10 minutes here.
Okay, here we go then. So here's the recap. So we started off with talking about our little routine, which is the hourglass, the cowbell, and the Edison light bulb. And we're looking for more inspiration, more guests. We want to provoke people in a good way, feeling that they can do more. And through everything that's promoted here through Austin's platform with Flashpoint, your breakthrough story, it becomes a catalyst into moving people along. So in the hourglass, it's about life unfolding, not stressing over the past or the present, but being, the past or the future, but being in the present moment and stepping into that right now. The light bulb moment is where we can try many things. We can try one thing many times, as Edison did for thousands of times, but keep trying. Don't give up, because eventually you will hit the one thing that is successful, and that's what happened with the light bulb. I love the way that Austin honored everybody that showed up here today. That's one of my mottos of life. Get up, dress up, and show up to my life. Not life, my life, because it's all about us to begin with, right? Gord, you talked about your new promotion launching on July the 8th at noon, the podcast, The Long Bearded Guy. So the email there was longbeardedguy@gmail.com. It's about awareness for men, and how we talked about how men need this, because it has to be a reinvention. You mentioned the acorn seed that's under the ground there, and it doesn't grow up thinking it's going to become a willow tree or something else. It grows up into the oak tree that it was designed and purposed for. And this is what humans can do. They can reinvent themselves daily, right now. Make it a great day. Don't worry about the past or the future. What can I do right now to reinvent myself so that I can move forward? And I loved how you said, do not abdicate your power. Believe in yourself and step into your power. It is God-given. Austin brought up the point that many folks would say, you don't know me, you don't know my story, I feel overwhelmed. And Gord, you went on to talk about having bite-sized pieces, not trying to take the whole mountain on. Sit back and take little bite-sized pieces of information or learning or whatever it is that you can step into your power and grow. The one gold nugget from here, this podcast is going to be on 250 global platforms, and it's more about reaching men, but at the end of the day, it will reach everyone, because it will fill them up, it will fire them up, and it will empower them, which is absolutely marvelous. We've moved on to Marlon, over 35 years in the wealth game. His email address is marlonthewealthwise.com. Marlon talked about Hots Johnson, who is also a wealth guy, and apparently, Gord, he is your twin, because he has a beard like you. So Austin is going to make sure we can bring you two guys on at the same time. The seminar, Marlon attended a seminar last Friday, which was on flipping real estate. And there was this one gentleman there who's having his greatest return on his money. Talked about people complaining. We're hearing it here in Canada too, about high gas prices, food inflation, potential recession. But the pullback is, it's not really that bad. It's just that things are going too fast. And the admonition here, like Gordon said, is to stay the course. If you're sitting on a house that you want to sell, then don't sell it. If you're sitting on cash, sit on the cash. Don't move it, because things will change. And this is the economy in the stock exchange. I did those studies way back, and I get this. Anyway, he also brought out this 25% increase in rental properties, which adds immense value to the property owner, right? So Marlon's advice was for us to, who do we listen to? Who do we hang out with? And what materials do we read? Because the tide raises all ships. And in our community, with Austin, Flashpoint, our breakthrough story, the ACTS program, we're in a community with the right people, which will help that tide to rise. We're doing okay. Then we had our guest that's driven all the way 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
Dana Banks. Woohoo!
Yeah, Dana's right here.
She's also got a ticket to Flashpoint 4.0, which is the area that you're broadcasting from right now, is where the Flashpoint 4.0 conference is going to take place October 7th, 8th, and 9th. She commented on being with like-minded people, as was with Austin. She spoke about she had been addicted to the future. She never lived in the present moment, always lived for everyone else, not for herself. And as women, we tend to do that. That's almost like a heritage. We were raised that way. But now she's here in the present moment, encouraging us to take action. Her mom passed away, and the same week that her mom passed away, she gave birth to a baby. And she spoke about life as a way station. And she feels that her mom is still with her to share all her joys and sorrows. And I absolutely relate to this. Absolutely relate to this. I'm so into this story. She's journaled all her experiences over the last 11 years where her mom has communicated with her. This is priceless. When you listen to your God-given intuition, these downloads come in, and they can come in from our loved ones. And she's written this book, The Postcard, Pennies, and a Promise. And it's based upon these stories and these downloads from her communications with her mother. And the basis is to touch all those who have lost loved ones. And it's going to contain memorable photographs. She's got 7 grandchildren. They're going to be covered in the second book. Her outreach program there is DanaLynnBanks.com. She's launching this book on January the 6th. So there's a pre-book launch that we can get it. And like the rest of us here, because we're all like-minded spirits, we all believe that there are no accidents. We didn't meet just because we happened to pass ships in the night, as it were. Like energy attracts like energy, and that's what brings us to this platform. Everything happens when it's supposed to happen. The most important thing is that you are there in the present moment at the time. You show up in the moment when it's meant to happen. And how does that happen? That happens by each and every one of us taking a step to empower ourselves, get into communities with like-minded spirits, and be there when all these great and beautiful, amazing, life-moving events happen. Austin. Thank you.
Outstanding, Mandy. Outstanding. See, everything works out. We actually have a couple minutes. Now, what that means is we are on, not you. Well, you are technically through the virtual world. I'm going to do my best to walk around and just give you the best that I can here with the location, with the time that we have. And I want to encourage you, if you did not, grab the link for the documentary for this Sunday. Gordon's going to be back. Marlon's going to be back. Mandy's going to be back. And actually, DJ's on here. I want to throw this out. As I walk around, I've been talking with DJ. She is an avid travel person. She's been everywhere. And we're talking about doing, for those people that want to stay and come in early and maybe stay after, maybe doing some tours around the city because it's a historic site here. that could be a load of fun in October. So if you're thinking about, you know, the Hilton in Penn's Landing, you can book your room, just name Flashpoint. If you want to get that business out of the way before you get your ticket, you can do that. It is going to be a hootenanny. All right, here we go. So
Use that word again. Hootenanny.
Okay, so the screen's going to get a little wobbly. I'm going to apologize in advance, but I'm going to walk over here to the central court where there's a Christopher Columbus monument, and then I'll try to get down to the river so we can see the Ben Franklin Bridge. We have about 3-4 minutes left. So here we go.
Start walking.
Here we go.
Oh, this is amazing. Austin did a live video yesterday showing us the surrounding, the ships, submarines, all kinds of monuments and places of interest, history. Look, he's doing it now. This is a beautiful place to hold a conference. And I even said it. I forget Flashpoint 4.0. I'm going touring.
Yeah, it'll be like, where's Mandy for the recap? Oh, she's out gallivanting around the city.
She's on a submarine going down.
She's on that. We have this thing here called the Duck. Have you ever heard Ride the Duck? It's an amphibious vehicle, and it basically you go and land in city. Okay, so I got a little bit of a screen here, but let me you know what?
Okay,
I'm gonna pop the two of you out just for a minute so I can get it. So here we go. You got the Christopher Columbus monument right there. And then I'm going to walk down to the river here. Now the signal's a little less down here, but bear with me. This is on first time we're doing this on the show, but I just want to give you a little bit of a backdrop of this location that we're doing the Flashpoint Live event. Christopher Columbus right there. And I want to get the bridge. I want to make sure you get the bridge here. All right, here we go. And then I'll bring Gordon and Mandy back on just to say goodbye. It's been a great show. I'm humbled by you showing up. Here we go. I'm going to try to go slow here. See the bridge in the background there? There's the Ben Franklin Bridge. And it looks like somebody got married. There's the hotel right there. That's the Hilton. And we are at the top of the hour, so I'm going to bring Mandy and Gordon back on. And we're going to say goodbye. We're going to send you on your way.
We're at the top of the hour. I hope we've got the penthouse.
I know, so we're
for the conference. Austin, thank you.
My signal's cutting a little bit, so.
Okay, Austin, thank you so much for hosting this today. To all our wonderful guests, Austin J. Haynes, Gordon Melville, Dana Banks, Marlon Mueller. We will be here on Sunday at 8 p.m. for the documentary release. Get onto Austin's website so that you can join us and prepare to have the ride of your life in your breakthrough story. So thank you to all of our guests in the chat room, everybody that showed up. You are awesome. We love you, and we can't wait to be with you again. Thank you so much. Love and hugs. God bless you all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye.
Awesome show.